Oh, back in it, I guess. Hello! Hi! Welcome back to my channel. Hope everything is good. Hope you are all okay. I feel like I just look weird today. I don't know what's happening here, but please ignore it. Do you know what? We're back with another kind of criticism, reviewing video of singers, a new group, I guess, India's first K-pop group. I have watched their cover of Piri, and I have a lot to say. There's a whole thought process going on of me trying to dissect that whole video and the vocals, the mixing overall, and all I can really say is that the mixing is something. It's there. But I thought it would be interesting to do this since so many of you have asked me to do a video on this group. I'm not talking about the group in general, how they're formed, because I don't know. And one thing I will say is please do not send them hate. I have seen a lot of constructive criticism in the comments, which I think is really good. Say, I don't think this was good because of this. That's great, but do not send them hate. If you don't like it, don't support them. But I am here to just go in on the vocals and go in on everything. One thing I will say is what I said on my last video, my video about Kachi. The vocals could be okay. Let's say there's enough vocals and the vocals are okay. But there's something that happens in the mixing, something that happens in the overall sound engineering process, which ends up making them sound worse than they actually are. And I feel like this has happened in this case. It was very poorly produced. The person who mixed and edited their vocals did them so dirty. And when I said about Kachi, I said like, oh, the producer, the sound engineers, they did their vocals dirty. Yeah, they did. But this is like another level of holy shit. They really fucked up those vocals. That's the level it's on. Let's get into it. So the group is called Five High. So it's like a high five, but the other way around, because are there 5 girls? I feel like that's probably why as well. But it's like high five, but with a 5 in the front instead of on this. You get me. Their first kind of like debut kind of thing. Piri Dreamcatcher cover, and let's just watch it. They've got currently 138,000 views. So this has a team, a massive team of people working on this. So I don't get how it ended up so bad. First of all, it's recorded in a studio, R&B Studios, but this is actually done by someone who's a producer or someone who can mix vocals and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is it was recorded in a studio with the professionals. So how does it sound this bad? Anyway, let's listen. I forgot that it's... One thing I think is quite good is that they're singing a full song in Korean because it's Dreamcatcher's song. So she starts off with I can't belt that because male. Her was like from the first note. It was incredibly shaky. Honestly, because of how shaky it was, it sounded just off. That was not a good start. You can immediately hear from this mixer that there's no tuning on it at all. And some people might see that as good, but in this age when you're listening to upbeat songs, quality that they are now, I think tuning is very much needed because of things such as harmonies and backing vocals. There's so much more added now than there was before we even had those tuning programs. She does need a bit more vocal training, this girl. But overall, I do like her tone. I like the way she's singing. She has a very aggressive way of singing. So good! From this first person, I don't think she's bad. I just think she needs a bit more time to practice her vocals. Honestly, I think the producer, the person who was recording these vocals, you messed up, mate. If this was the line you chose, I'm like, oh God. You record things over and over until you get them right. That's how I do it, and that's how most people do it. The biggest problem with this, and that I'm having, I'm only 40 seconds in, is that they're meant to be India's first K-pop group. The quality doesn't follow with that. It sounds like a cover project. It sounds like a group of friends got together and decided, let's buy, I don't know, any microphone online, and then let's record in Audacity and let's make a cover. And the fact that this was recorded in a studio and was mixed and had a sound engineer on it really fucking shocks me. I'm sorry for swearing, but it just angers me that this is the quality product that these professionals are putting out there. This is going to be hard to explain to you guys if you don't understand, but the compression, the EQ was so bad. Their vocals sound very boxy, not bright or present. They just sound lacking. I'm not talking about their singing voices. I'm talking about how the person EQ'd the mic. So basically what you do in EQ is you bring up certain frequencies and you bring some down. They could have brought the 400 to 500 hertz section down on the EQ, and they brought up the 10K up, so then that would have given them such a brighter, more present vocal. Ask me to be nice and then I'll do it extra mean. 뜻밖의 표정 하나에 넌 당황하겠지. Ask me to be nice and then I'll do it extra mean. 뜻밖의 표정 하나에 넌 당황하겠지. From what I hear now, it sounds like they recorded their main vocals. That's it. Nothing else was done. 40, 50 minutes to complete that. Oh, I feel bad for these people because they might be wanting to have a music career, but the way they have started is dreadful for them. I feel bad for them. They have been done dirty. I said Katya have been done dirty, but these girls have been done dirty by their sound engineer, by their producer. It sounds boring. Even though you can hear some audible doubles, they don't have any presence because they haven't EQ'd the mic properly. They haven't added enough compression. It just really sounds like a raw file from a cheap mic. That's really what it sounds like. Even though I may attest and say that actually the mic may not be cheap. It's just the person that really did the vocals just did it bad. I'd say obviously the vocal levels, like the volumes are great. They sound perfect. That sounds like someone took some time on it. When you go to these parts, and have like loads of like backing vocals to boost it up, it's really boring because you have the backing vocals there but they have no presence. They're not really boosting anything because the overall vocal quality sound is shit, so it doesn't really do much, you know? Whoever produced this, one thing I'd say about the vocals, for me they sound fine. I'd say overall their vocal tones are okay, but they have the kind of like they all kind of have that kind of similar like vocal tone, but just if everyone sounds the same, it's not gonna be that interesting, if you know what I mean. Oh, the late was not a good note. That was like late. It was like the note below it. They stood in the recording studio, I'm guessing for a couple hours recording vocals. That was the best that the person could like comp it together. Comping means like recording loads of different vocals and then choosing the best parts of each one and then putting them together into one vocal. If that was like the best lines they could get, then these girls need a lot more training. 아무 소리 아무 콩마다 나를 보는 눈이야 I don't wanna dumb 나를 차고 있는 중이야 나 지켜주지 않아 네 것을 받아와. I'm not cringing at the girl. Oh, the vocal production is the thing that's making me, it's really getting me bad. The girl, she's a good rapper. She sounds great. I think she's good. Really done well in that rap. I do like her voice. They had some weird like phasing thing going on there. It sounds like they added that onto her main rap vocals, which just is weird. Sound even more dull and more boxy. It honestly sounds like you're recording like this. Da 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 da. Jesus. If I got my hands on their raw vocals and I was able to tweak them and EQ it properly, maybe it'd sound good. I don't know. Ooh, that's good. She sounded real good on that part. That part suited her very well. That's the thing. I think these girls can very much sing well. The problem is it's the person who mixed them. Okay, so if you heard me there, I was doing harmonies. That's what I'm missing in this cover. There's no harmonies that I've added to anything that I can hear. It sounds lackluster. I don't know what to say there. There's nothing you can do. They didn't do harmonies. That 히타면. She went like 히타면. What's your name, sir? What is your name? Whoever you are, you recorded their vocals. You also mixed their vocals. You did everything for them. Why did you not make her re-record that line? Very weak, and it sounded like she accidentally did it when she was ending her line. Because sometimes you have like vocal like, whoo? Like sometimes it just pops out. You really should have made them re-record some of these lines. During the first part of this, there was two girls singing. What I would have done differently here is I would have panned one slightly to the right and one slightly to the left, so you could get like a full scope of their voices and you can hear them. That would have helped, but also the fact that both girls aren't singing like the exact same pitch, and this is where pitch correction comes in, and this is when you hear like two people sing the same line, they sound really good together. It's probably because pitch correction has sorted it out. So one's singing like da 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 like that, and the other one's just going like da 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 So what ends up happening is it just sounds weird and it sounds very odd when you listen to it. And it just doesn't sound pleasing. And the fact that their vocals were like just in the middle of the mix instead of one to the right and one to the left, you can't even hear who's singing except for the parts when the pitch goes off. I shouldn't be having to explain to a professional how to mix vocals. I'm a YouTube coverist. I feel like if the producers for this gave more of their 2 cents, they would tell them do this, add this. I think it would sound better with this. It sounds like that didn't happen on both, which is very, very heartbreaking. This is a cover by Five High, so you're not doing as much as an original song in the sense you just kind of have to emulate what's happening already in the original song. So that was the end of the video. That was the end of the cover. My overall thoughts. I will have to say context does really matter in this situation. So if this really was just a cover group and they were doing it for fun and stuff, I'd say it's pretty good because they all can sing and I'm not expecting to have very professional sounding vocals. But the problem is, if you look in the description, they have a team of people working on this and they recorded this in a proper studio. They are meant to be India's first K-pop girl group. So it's like, okay, I'm expecting them to be good. I'm expecting them to have something that's of quality. Let's just compare it to some companies in Korea. Loads of companies in Korea that have little budget, let's say, are able to produce some good sounding things, such as if you think about ANS. I love that song to death, but when listening to it, there are some problems with it. It still sounds really, really good, and they didn't have much of a budget for that. I think it's because they have obviously a great vocalist. They've trained for a while. The producer who did the song actually seemed like they spent time on it, you know? We're expecting a higher quality product if you are an actual group. The problem with this is that it literally just sounds like they just recorded their mains raw and haven't done anything with it at all. I know that this is gonna sound super shady, but even my first cover on YouTube sounds higher quality than this. I think the girls in this have a lot of vocal potential and they can sing. They sound nice. Hope you like this video. Hope you like this video anyway. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time when I figure out a video to do. Yeah. Goodbye.